Hi, I'm Dr. Cass Spencer-Smith at Private Practice Ninja, and today we're going to be talking about mistakes not to make when planning your website or website refresh. Getting a website or updating your website is a big financial investment, but if you get it right, it's going to pay dividends and be your best secret marketer that goes to work for you even whilst you're sleeping. Get it wrong and it can be a costly waste of time. Let's remind ourselves about why we actually need a website in private practice. Well, Google tells us that 70% of the time patients make up their minds about us before they even get in touch with us. And that's based on what they read about us online. So if you're out there and you're not online, patients won't find you out there. The fact is we use Google every day to search for things. In fact, only the other day I was searching for dog-friendly restaurants in London. And I wouldn't have gone to that restaurant had I not checked out that it could take my pooch. If you throw a website together in a half-hearted fashion, it won't serve you well. And equally, if you make something really pretty, but it's very empty, it's a bit like having a fancy car parked on the driveway that you can't actually drive. So here are some words of warning and top tips when it comes to things you should think about when rebuilding or building a website. Number 1. Don't wait around forever to get together a website. This is an investment, but it's something that you should do everything possible to scrape together the money for. Here's the thing though, what you don't want to do is put together something really on the cheap, because you'll only end up spending more money by rebuilding it. The reason you need to get online quick is because Google will start tracking you the moment you're there, and the longer you're literally online with your website, the further up Google rankings you go. So dilly-dallying around about it, thinking, oh, I don't know what my logo is going to be, I've got to sort this out first of all, is wasting time. So collect together some money and make it happen. It can be tempting to have a little go online, build yourself a sort of Wix website that you kind of like and then you get attached to, and then you find yourselves having to do it all over again with a decent website. Now, I'm not slating Wix websites, for example, they are very good, but you can do better. And frankly, in private practice, we should do better. So if you're still collecting together your funds, I'm going to put a link below to things you can do to market yourself online, even if you don't have a website. Do that first. Number 2, the user experience and design of a website is very important, but content is king. Here's the thing, websites need to function well and look good, but there also needs to be content in there, because that's what Google sniffs. A recent study by Forbes says that if your website pages have less than 600 to 700 words on them, they're considered to be a bit thin by Google, who then goes, oh, it's not much, is it? Number 3, you're a great clinician, but you won't necessarily make a great website copywriter. Writing for clinical websites takes a set of skills you need to learn. The trouble is we're used to writing like doctors, and if we translate what we write as doctors and try and put it on a website page, it doesn't work very well. So it's really important that you work with a copywriter in the process before you put your website together, not after, because it's a bit like unpicking bad words. If you need help with this, get in touch. We love writing copy for websites. Number 4, your website needs feeding. Websites aren't static things, and some doctors and physios and osteos make the mistake of thinking, great, it's like my online business card, they set and forget. There's 2 problems with this. Firstly, Google will let you slowly lower down the rankings if you don't add content to it. And secondly, your website should be so much more than just a place where people find out your contact details. It should be a place where patients come to have their questions answered because you've written some great content that speaks to that, and that way you'll go higher up Google's algorithm rankings. Number 5, websites are an integral part of your GDPR compliance. It's a brilliant place to put your privacy notice, but you also need to have an up-to-date cookies policy as well. If you need some information, look in the links below. And finally, number 6, websites age, but not like great wine. Websites have a sort of life expectancy. They probably last about 3 to 4 years in design terms, and what tends to happen is the code gets a bit clunky, the UX can be updated to something that's even better, the imagery needs updating, you need new words, blah, 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 blah. So you must refresh your website particularly if you're starting to experience what is sometimes known as website shame. So if you're experiencing website shame, it's important to budget for an update, because otherwise, if you don't do that, patients will come along to your site and they'll think, oh, it's looking a bit old, a bit Windows 95, isn't it? I'm not sure they keep up to date in much. Perhaps maybe they're not keeping up to date much in their practice either. So it needs to be a smart shop front. And the fact is that you need to invest for this. And if that's every 3 to 4 years, and that's probably going to spend about 3 to 4 grand, you need to budget for it. If you need help figuring out your website strategy or words for your website, get in touch. I'm at css@privatepracticeninja.tv, and I'll see you next time.